RICO.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd. And of course, here you go. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what a plea bargain is, since all these plea bargains are popping off pretty regular now with the state of Georgia versus Donald J. Trump et al. Case. We just dive right in here. I'm not going to waste your time while I'm doing that. Why don't y'all like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment below. And here we go. Plea bargain. This is from Cornell Law School. I'll break it down to you. And when we come to some legal terminology, I'll break it down in layman's terms so you can easily understand. This is an overview. This is just, a basic fundamental explanation of what a plea bargain looks like. And when I get done, I'll give you, if you remind me, I'll give you an example of some of my own personal plea bargain negotiations. Oh, you won't believe it. Many successful criminal prosecutions in the United States end not with jury trials, but with plea bargains. Plea bargains are agreements between defendants and prosecutors in which defendants agree to plead guilty to some or all of the charges against them in exchange for concessions from the prosecutors. These agreements allow prosecutors to focus their time and resources on other cases, or in the particular case at hand, other defendants, and reduce the number of trials that Judge Scott McAfee needs to oversee. In plea bargains, prosecutors usually agree to reduce a defendant's punishment. They often accomplish this by reducing the number of charges of the severity of the charges against the defendant. Okay. They might also agree to recommend that the defendants receive reduced sentences. Some plea bargains require defendants to do more than simply plead guilty. For example, prosecutors often offer favorable plea bargains to defendants who agree to testify for the state in cases against other defendants, i.e., the same case, or i.e., other pending cases, or future cases that have yet to be filed but are under investigation through the DA's office or a combination with some other government entity. According to the Department of Justice's Bureau of Justice Assistance, the overwhelming majority, 90 to 95% of cases, result in plea bargaining. And I can pretty much testify that that's what happens here in Harris County. Very seldom do you take it to the jury trial. So I'm in that 5 to 10% who have taken a felony habitual to trial. Absolutely. Lived through it. Ta-da! Well, I said it's a miracle. I get to see myself every morning. The role of judges. In some jurisdictions, prosecutors and defendants can work with judges to predetermine what sentence the defendants will get if the defendants accept plea bargains. In most jurisdictions, however, judges' role in plea bargaining is limited. For example, federal judges retain final authority over sentencing decisions and are not bound by prosecutors' recommendations, even if the recommendations are part of the plea bargains. Similarly, federal judges may not be directly involved in plea bargain negotiations. Correct. And this is what happened with Hunter Biden's Washington, D.C. gun charges. The DOJ and Hunter's attorneys had worked out a plea agreement, and when they went into court and presented it to the federal judge looked at it and laughed his ass off, or her ass off, and threw that shit out. Told him, come back. That ain't gonna fly in my court, which she has every right to do. And that pretty much works the same way in Texas. I can speak for Texas. I've experienced it. So same uniform application. Controversy surrounding plea bargains. Although plea bargaining allows the criminal justice system to conserve resources, the plea bargains are controversial. Some commentators oppose plea bargains, as they feel that the plea bargains allow defendants to shirk responsibility for their crimes they have committed. Others argue that plea bargains are too coercive and undermine important constitutional rights. Plea bargaining does require defendants to waive three rights protected by the Fifth and Sixth Amendments: the right to a jury trial, the right against self-incrimination, and the right to confront witnesses. The Supreme Court would also fall under the Eighth, which would be cruel and unusual punishment. Absolutely. The Supreme Court, however, in numerous cases, such as Brady versus United States, has held that plea bargaining is constitutional. The Supreme Court, however, has held that defendants' guilty pleas must be voluntarily made, and that defendants may only plead guilty if they know the consequences of doing so. And that's called the admonishment. So you get admonished in court regarding the terms and conditions of your viability, capability, and acceptance of the terms of the agreement. Violating a plea bargain. Courts treat plea bargains as contracts between prosecutors and defendants. A defendant breaking a plea bargain is akin to a breach of contract, which will result in the prosecutor no longer being bound by his or her obligation in the plea deal. If a prosecutor reneges on plea bargains, defendants may seek relief from the judge. The judge might let the defendant withdraw the guilty pleas, may force the prosecutor to follow the plea bargain, or may apply some other remedy. And these are from further readings. Now, I'll doing a little addendum to this last part right here. Let's say you do a guilty plea and you got to go do a little time, but you get to TDCJ thinking you're going to do a little 6 months shock probation or 2 years, but when you get there, you've got 20 years. So the prosecutor reneged on the deal. So you can go back to the trial court. You would go back through with a habeas corpus. If they don't give you remedy, then you would take it to a higher court. If you can show that the terms, conditions, stipulations, if you may, were violated by the state, then you may obtain relief. I'm not going to say you're going to get relief, but you may obtain relief. So that pretty much puts plea bargaining in a nutshell. So I know you've been waiting on an entire video for me to tell my story. I know you have. I don't think I have anything that resembles it, but I do not. Oh, very changed. So I'm actually going to jump bond and run on this case because it was my second time to go back to prison. I really did not want to go back to prison. Not after the first time. So packed my shit and made my move. All undercover. Nothing in my name. And just could not pull it off at the last minute. Ended up going to court, which was scheduled for my trial by jury. And went into court with my court-appointed attorney. And we got to negotiating. My attorney, go talk to the DA, and DA come, or the ADA, as we call them here in Harris County. And, they're offering this. Well, then I do a counter. Then it's like, hey, come on, man, let's just go talk to the guy. So we went back in the area behind the court where the holding cell is, where they hold the prisoners. And we were standing outside that in this little area where, it looks like a couple of offices and they can work. And it's my court appointed attorney and the prosecutor and myself. And we're standing there and we're negotiating. Okay. And I'm talking for myself, but I'm talking with my attorney. It's a three-way conversation for sure. He offered me, I think I want to say 15 off the bat. I countered with no, 5, because they caught me red-handed. One of these days, I'm going to get Bob on my show. Yeah, that's a whole nother story. I sold a quarter pound of cocaine to an undercover HPD officer named Bob Romano, and I know Bob, and I have a mutual friend that still knows Bob. Bob is still doing what he does. I'm not going to tell you where he does it, but yeah, I'd love to have him on the show. He's getting ready to retire. So that'll be some interesting stories to tell. But anyway, so they caught me dead to rights. So, wasn't like I was going to get out of this one. So I think he offered me 15. I came back, countered something else, and then he threw a 13 at me. Now, if anybody knows anything about negotiating prison time, if you go to a prison in Texas, okay, I can't speak for any other state or jurisdiction or territory, but I can speak for Texas. You go into Texas with one of those oddball ass numbers like a 13, a 19, a 17, a 27, a 23, a 38. That's a signal to the parole board from the court. Take care of this one for us. They give you a round number, even number. They give you a 2, a 5, an 8, a 10, a 12, a 15, a 20, a 25. These just normal sequential numbers. Yeah, you can make parole faster on a 15-year sentence than you can on a 13. Absolutely. I've seen it over and over and over. Guys come in with these oddball numbers, man, and they just like, yeah, it's a thing. It really is. So anyway, we're back there and he throws this 13 at me and I'm like, 13, get that little bitter beer face, 13. I already know I'm doing the math in my head. Every time we throw a number, I'm doing math in my head. So I'm like, no. And I'm doing the math. How long am I going to have to be locked up before I can come up for parole? That's key thing. So it's about a month, and so we're at 13, but 13 is an odd number. So I know I'm going to do more than 13 months just because it's the odd number. If it was a 15, I know 15 months. Boom, that's my first parole. It's because I know that first one's going to be a set off because it's a 13. They're telling them keep him here. We're going to give him this little sentence, but keep him there. So we're in the back, and I'm like, no, man, 12. I'm like, he's going to bite on 12 all day long. Now 13. Why is he even arguing over a year? I'm like, nah, 12. I tell you what, I'm in a good mood today. I'm like, oh shit. Here comes the bullshit masquerading as honey. he's gonna sweeten the deal. I promise you, I swear to God. I swear to God. I swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but truth. So help me God. Reaches in his pocket. Pulled out a knife, but he pulls out a quarter. He goes, you feeling lucky, Mr. Tarvin? I'm like, not really, but okay. He goes, we'll flip for it. I'll let you call it. And if you win, you get 12. If I win, you'll take the 13. Thinking, I got a 50-50 shot. I'm already dead to the rights, screw it. It's better going in there picking 12 people to decide my fate or the judge. So I'm actually choosing my own fate. So at least I know that, Maximum I'm going to get today is 13. The best I'm going to do is a 12. Go for it. Fuck. Sorry, but that was probably exactly what I said. That's probably a quote, word for word. He goes, but I told you, Miss Tarvin, I'm in a good mood today. And I'm like, oh. You know what? I'm just going to give you 12 and a half. Seriously, dude, can you put a target on my back any better than that? A 12 and a half? Are you serious? He's like, yeah. I'm like, no, man. I'll take the 13. Sorry, Mr. Tarvin. It's 12 and a half. Okay. Can I get a week to get my affairs in order before I turn myself in? Yeah, Mr. Tarvin, you can do that. And oh my God, that's like probably took me 70 videos to describe that week. Yeah. They gave me a week to go sow my oats, get it all out before I went to prison. And I was ready to sit there for several years. By the grace of God, overcrowding, they popped me right back out, first parole. Astonishing. So that's my experience in plea bargaining. That's what it looks like. For real. For real, for real, for real. Now, if you want to associate yourself with people who have integrity and loyalty, that's what you must do. Stand up and take it like be a woman or a man. Nowadays, I guess you can be a French fry in high heels and lipstick. Who the hell knows? World's crazy. Anyway, thank you for watching. This was supposed to be a short, quick video, but you got to hear one of my crazy stories. And I got a lot of them. They are the real deal. That's what a plea bargain negotiation looks like. That's what it looked like in my life. I plea bargained in other deals too. So thank you guys. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell, share this video with God and everybody. Y'all got God's email? Phone number? How about Santa? All right. Thank you. Y'all know how to reach me, the Fearless Floyd Show at yahoo.com, the fearlessfloydshow.com, the Fearless Floyd Show across every social media platform. Look forward to hearing from you. Y'all have a great week.